Welcome here to this early evening matchup as we have the Hyannis Harborhawks on the road against the Cotuit Kettleers. I'm Ron Marcello. By my side is Chris Lucy. Chris, can you talk about something special that's going on here?
Well, Robert, today is the start of one of the sweetest rivalries in Cape Cod. Hyannis and Cotuit, both in the locale of Barnstable, a county here on the Cape, and every year since 2004, they have competed against each other directly for the title of the Patriot Cup, which is a big trophy. You'll see it displayed proudly out front over there. Cotuit has won it 5 of the past 6 years, and it's just based off of who wins the most ball games between these two clubs throughout the season. It is a fierce Western Division matchup, fierce Western Division rivalry between the Harborhawks and the Kettleers, and there are no two people that understand this matchup better than Chad Gassman and Mike Roberts. Both have been with these ball clubs for decades at this point. Gassman in his 10th season, Roberts here for over 20 years as he balances his career with Cotuit with also, in the past, a successful tenure as North Carolina's head baseball coach. So there's a lot on the line here today to get the Patriot Series started off on the right foot, and no one understands it better than the two men that just shook hands and exchanged lineup cards at home plate.
Absolutely. Can you talk to us about the matchup tonight, Roth versus McLarty?
Well, Houston Roth is a dastardly pitcher coming out of Ole Miss, and he'll sit in the low to mid-90s with his fastball. He can get up around the upper 90s as well, and he's a 3-pitch guy. He comes in with a fastball, a changeup, and a slider to boot, and will definitely be someone that the Harborhawks will rely on for innings this year because he comes from a program in Ole Miss that is really an outstanding one, and a 5-0 record on the year, 8 games started, 51 2/3 innings pitched, 65 strikeouts, and the 4.53 ERA doesn't really do justice to the fact that opposing batters only hit 265 off of him over the life of the campaign. So Hyannis is well set up on their end of the mound, and then he'll be facing Griffin McLarty, the right-hander who just took the mound for the Kettleers, wearing number 13 in those red and white red jersey Friday jerseys. 19 appearances on the year at the College of Charleston, coming in at 6'3", 190 pounds, 0-3 record, 6.16 ERA, 30 innings pitched, and get this, Robert, 33 strikeouts. He's somebody that can really rack up Ks on you if you're not careful.
Very good, and I think the most important thing for him is be able to get ahead of the count on batters. It seems like he throws a lot of strikeouts. That's the reason why, is we're almost getting ready for first pitch here in this early evening matchup. Chris, you can go through the lineups for us.
Absolutely, I can go through the lineups. Harborhawks are going to lead things off here batting-wise in the number 1 spot. Matthew Barefoot, the senior out of Campbell University, playing center field today. In the 2 spot, Davis Wenzel out of Baylor, the third baseman, in making his Cape debut of the summer. In the 3 spot, number 37, the catcher from Florida Atlantic University. He's actually DHing tonight, but had a stellar debut as a catcher last night for Hyannis. Pedro Pages, 2 for 4 night last night with a pair of runners thrown out on base as well. And then Vinny Pasquantino in the 4 spot, the junior from Old Dominion. Alec Trela from Memphis, the shortstop in the 5 spot. Trevor Hauber from Arizona State University, the sophomore in the 6 spot. Nick Durr in the 7 spot out of Florida State University, playing right field in the 8 spot. Todd Lott out of the University of Louisiana Lafayette, and then catching today another Cape League debut in the 9 spot, number 14, Kyle Wilkie from Clemson.
Thank you. As now we're getting ready to start. Matthew Barefoot to start out for the Harborhawks. And here we go. The first pitch is in outside part of the plate. 1-0 count for Barefoot. The second pitch of the at-bat. Another outside pitch. 2-0 the count.
Already, McLarty coming in with some good velocity over that outer half, keeping the ball down as well.
Pitcher's in. A foul ball. Goes behind us here at Lowell Park. Like I said, it's an early evening matchup, so there's no lights here in Cotuit.
No, it's one of the old-time ballparks here on the Cape.
Pitches in. Foul ball. Hits just the top of the Kettleers bench there.
Look out.
Look out, exactly.
Lowell Park, definitely a lot of old-time charm. You see the top of that dugout is green painted wood, mainly cinder blocks making up the dugout that is actually in ground.
Pitches in. Swing and a miss there is barefoot. And that'll be for the first out of the inning. His first strikeout. Chris, you said he strikes out a lot. Well, he struck out the first batter of the game.
Absolutely. A good start off to things here for McLarty, the right-hander. Just able to find the strike zone, and he was pounding the zone more with fastballs, but he came away with a little bit of a slider at the end and totally fooled barefoot.
Pitches in. That is a strike. Davis Wenzel up the plate for the Harbor Hawks. It's a fly ball in the gap, and it will get down. Wenzel in second. He'll be sliding in for a one-out double as it got in between the center fielder and the right fielder.
The Big 12 product out of Baylor absolutely flying down the base paths. The ball hung up in the air a little bit. It's deceptive today because the flag out in left center isn't really blowing either way, but there's definitely some wind blowing in. You can imagine it's even more chaotic way up top where that ball was hit. So when it hung, Davis Wenzel was just on his horse, and he stretched that into a double.
Pedro Page is up at the plate for the Harbor Hawks. Third man in the order. The catcher for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch of the bat is in there for a strike.
Page is actually going to be DHing today, but again, a stellar debut as a catcher last night, throwing out 2 runners.
Pitches in. It's a ball in the dirt. 1-1 count with a man on second with 1 out in the top of the first.
You see the second baseman, Joyce, sneaking over towards second base right now because of the right-handed batter. Holding on Wenzel at second.
Pitches in. That's a strike. Inside lower part of the plate. Right near his shoe tops. 1-2 count.
You have to respect McLarty for going after the zone early. He let one get in Wenzel's wheelhouse, but he's not afraid to go after the Harbor Hawks.
Pitches in. That's a ball just outside. Pages did not go after that one. 2-2 count with 1 out in the top of the first. 0-0 here at Lowell Park. Oh, pitch. Foul ball. It's right near our broadcast area.
Almost gave our producer, Lyle Goldstein, a heart attack. They keep him a little bit further away from the action at Arizona State, where he calls most of his college ball. But they get you right up to the fence here in Cotuit.
They definitely do.
We're down the first base line a little bit behind home plate.
Pitches in, foul ball as it hits the fence behind us. I like to say, Chris, this is a very nice ballpark.
Absolutely it is. Established in 1947, Lowell Park is one of the nicer parks you'll end up at, and most Harbor Hawks fans will not like to hear the hometown broadcaster saying that, but still.
Another foul ball, and it'll be out of play.
And you can't help but say it, even as a broadcaster for the rival team. Coming back in my second season, Lowell Park had some of my best memories of the summer last year because of not only how beautiful the park is, but how contentious these games get between these two clubs. They know what's at stake, and even only being here for the summer, these players definitely do put a lot of importance on the Patriot Cup.
2-2 count. Pitches another foul ball. Very long at bat for Pages. Hits it down the first base line.
Well, he was telling me earlier today that he couldn't have gotten his season off to a better start for Hyannis comes right off the plane from Florida and gets that 2 for 4 last night, as well as throwing people out at second. He's confident right now.
Which is in another foul ball. As speaking of Pages, he had a big throw out in the 9th inning to really kind of seal the deal for the Harbor Hawks.
Exactly. And even outside of the things that you can notice as a broadcaster, Coach Gaspin was telling me it's the things that you don't necessarily notice from up top that Pages really excels at, framing pitches and keeping pitchers calm.
Strike 3 called, got him looking. And after a long at bat, will be 2 outs.
That pitch just didn't start in Pages' wheelhouse and certainly didn't end there. However, it did move from one end of the strike zone to the other. So a pitch Pages would like to have back in all likelihood.
Pasquantino up for the Harbor Hawks, the man in scoring position.
Has a hit already on the season, the junior from Old Dominion.
Pitches in, just a ball outside. Stopped by Cotuit's catcher.
Zach Humphrey's doing a great job behind the backstop, as you mentioned.
Ball just inside there, almost hit Pasquantino, but got out of the way. 2-1 count with 2 outs with the man still on second. Pitches in. Foul ball. Down the third base side. 2-2 count.
You have to hand it to McLarty. He got himself in trouble early, but he got the first out pretty quickly. And after the double to Wenzel, he settled in and was able to get Pages looking on that pitch and now has a 2-strike count. Can get himself out of this first inning unscathed, only allowing the single hit if he hits his spot here.
Pitches in. Ball to the left fielder. And he has it for the third out. McLaury gets unscathed here, scoring no runs as he gets out of the jam, leading off a 1-out double. We'll be back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network as the Cavaliers will be up in the bottom of the first.
.com. MusicElf.com. 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 MusicElf.com.
You're listening to the Chris Lucy and Robert Marcello.
Welcome back here. We're in the bottom of the first. Cotuit's going to get started up. Chris, can you go through their lineup for us?
Absolutely, I can. Cavaliers will get going with Jonathan Robertson, first baseman out of Creighton, in the number 1 spot. In the 2 spot, Peyton Burdick, the right fielder out of Wright State, going into his junior year. Zachary Bierman, the DH, in the 3 spot out of Coastal Carolina. And the returner in the 4 spot, the cleanup hitter, killed the Harbor Hawks last year, Thomas Dillard, the junior out of Ole Miss, off of a banner year there as well. Eric Jones, the third baseman out of Davidson, in the 5 spot. Corey Joyce out of North Carolina Central University in the 6th spot. In the 8th, Andrew Smith out of LIU Brooklyn. Adam Oviedo in the 8th spot out of TCU, the sophomore. And rounding things off, the catcher, also from TCU, Zach Humphreys. He's going into his junior year.
Thank you, Chris. Houston Roth on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. His first pitch is in there right down the pipe for a strike.
Well, Roth had himself a couple of starts this year, which is a huge improvement from his freshman year. Had 0 starts then, 8 starts this season.
To Jonathan Robinson. Ball 1-1 count in the bottom of the first. Rejoining us here on Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. It is 0-0. Third pitch at the at-bat is in. It's a ball just outside.
And in those 8 starts, as well as several other appearances as well, he had 14 overall on the year, 5-0 record, 4.53 ERA, 65 strikeouts.
Pitches in. That will be a ground ball to the second baseman. He has it. He'll throw it on to first for the first out of the inning.
Easy play for Trevor Hopper over there at second base, just right to him. And that's a good way for Roth to just get his bearings here in the Cape League. You start off getting that grounder and you realize, hey, might be the best competition in the country, but nothing that Roth isn't used to already playing at Ole Miss.
First pitch of the at-bat. Barrick is in. That's a strike. On one count. To Burdick here down early in the count. Second pitch is in. That is a ball in the gap, and it will be caught by the right fielder of the Harbor Hawks, being able to catch it down for the second out.
Nick Durr, an infielder by trade, but getting the start out in right field today, his Cape League debut, and he just cruises right over there and makes that look like nothing. So Durr having to fight for positions and playing time early on this season, making himself known to be versatile.
Zachary Bierman up at the plate. Pitches in. That is a strike right down the heart of the plate.
That one coming in at 88 miles per hour as well. That's one of the beauties of Lowell Park as well. The velocity is listed on the Lowell Park scoreboard.
Pitches in. That's a strike.
Good change up there. You could see a little bit of body on that. It dipped down from the upper to lower part of the strike zone.
2 quick outs here in the bottom of the first. Pitches in the ball in the dirt.
You like to see Roth changing speeds right now, too. He was able to waste a little bit of a slider in the dirt over there. That one is around 82, but the fastball that he got strike 1 on, 88 miles per hour.
1-2 count. 2 outs in the bottom of the first. 0-0 still. Pitches in just inside.
Cal Wilkie doing his best to frame that one, but a little abrupt moving the mid over. Wasn't fooling anybody.
2-2 count. Foul ball. There bounces off the catcher. The ball goes to the backstop. You said Kyle Wilkie. He goes to Clemson, and judging by his padding, you can tell he goes to Clemson. A fly ball out to left field. Lott has it, and he does. After 1, the score is 0-0 between Hyannis and Cotuit. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Chris Lucy and Robert Marcello.
Welcome back in the top of the second. Getting ready to start.
Alec Trela coming up to the plate for the Harbor Hawks.
First pitch in the top of the second is a foul ball, 91 miles per hour. Was McLarty on his fastball. Down 0-1 is Trella. Another foul ball. Goes behind us.
He's in a hole early, which is not unusual for him. Strike out a bit of an Achilles heel for Trela this year as he fouls that one off. He struck out 44 times in 55 games played, managing a 229 batting average and 201 at bats.
0-2 count. Fly ball out to right field. And that will be the first out as he has it. Quick play there by Burdick.
Absolutely. And Trela hasn't been an easy out so far in the Cape League season. He went 1 for 3 in his first game, scored a run as well. So he's off to a good enough start, but just has to keep that momentum going and shake off a hit that just found the wrong plate of the part of the outfield.
Trevor Hauver up at the plate for the Harbor Hawks. And he's already down 1-0 with a 91 mile per hour fastball from McLarty. Ball just outside. It's been very consistent in 90 and 91 for McLarty.
And that's tough for a lot of these guys because you don't see guys throwing all that hard.
It's a ball just inside, just on Hauver's shoe tops, as he has the protector.
You'll see guys throwing 90-91, of course, but not as consistently as you will out here in the Cape.
Pitches in, that is a ground ball to third baseman. He has it. He'll throw it onto first for the second out. Great play by Jones.
That brings up Nick Durr out of Florida State in his Cape League debut. 48 games played, 37 starts, 131 at-bats for the Seminoles, 214 batting average. Hit 6 home runs as well. Big power potential.
First pitch is in for a strike, 88 miles per hour.
Looked like a two-seamer coming in on the hands of the junior out of Florida State.
Foul ball goes behind us. I think I said at the top of the hour here at the start of the game is McLarty really, with all the strikeouts he has, he gets over himself in the count. He's able to get in front. He's been able to do that so far today. It's another foul ball.
Absolutely. Both pitchers today early on have done a good job of getting ahead in the count and also working quickly. It seems as though the dissonance that often appears between pitcher and catcher in those first couple games of summer ball has not been a factor today.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. No hits in this inning for the top of the second for the Harbor Hawks. They still have 1 hit. Cotuit has none. It's still 0-0 here in the top of the second. We're going to go to the bottom of the second as Cotuit will be up here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Thomas Dillard coming up to the plate for the Kettleers right now, and that's a name that Harbor Hawks fans remember. In a game against Hyannis last year, he hit a game-tying home run that ended up bringing a game to a 9-9 deadlock that ended in a tie.
And it appeared it was going to go through the middle, but it doesn't. But what a great play there by the shortstop for the first out.
Quick out right there for Houston Roth, which is important. He gets the game still rolling, and a tough out in Thomas Dillard as well. You don't want to give Dillard too much time at the plate because, like I mentioned, he made the Harbor Hawks pay last year. He's coming off a big season at Ole Miss.
Just outside for a ball.
Houston Roth has been able to find the strike zone early on today and going right after hitters too, which is important.
Down here. Right down the heart of the plate there. For a strike. 1-2 on the count. That will be the ball down the right field line, and will be fouled.
Yeah, that one getting out of play quite quickly. The wind blowing over towards right field. So the 1-2 fastball was fouled off down the right field line and just had really no chance of anything but just hook and foul.
Here with one out. Pitches in. There'll be a little dribbler to the third baseman. He has it for the second out.
Davis Wenzel making the play there. And now welcome back, Robert Marcello. We apologize for the technical difficulties there. The soundboard just needed a little love tap to get things moving. Sometimes different parts in there will kind of kink up and you just got to give it a little shove, like starting your lawnmower up or punching a fridge just to keep things moving.
Well, thank you for having me back.
Of course. Wouldn't be the same without you, Robert, or our producer Lyle, pushing all the right buttons.
2 quick outs in the bottom of the second. Still 0-0. Cotuit does not have a hit this evening. That will be a ball high.
Corey Joyce standing at the right-hand side of the plate out of North Carolina Central University. Historically black college down in North Carolina.
Pitch in there. That is a high fly ball, and that will be out. Fly ball out. 1-1 count. Very similar to last night's game, Chris, so it's going pretty quick.
Absolutely. Both of these pitchers working well, and when strikes are thrown, the game moves along.
1-1 count. Strike just inside to Joyce.
Joyce hit .358 this season in 178 at-bats playing for North Carolina Central down in the Mid-East Atlantic Conference.
There'll be a ground ball to Wenzel at third. He throws it on to first, and he will get him after 2 innings. It is still 0-0 here for the top of the third. We'll be back for the Harbor Hawks at bats. Here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital